Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Michael, and I'd like to welcome you to the Sober Thinkers channel. Thank you to all those that are tuned in, to the channel for the first time. Now, today's video pretty much serves as an introductory video, giving you some insight as to what prompted and motivated me to create the channel, as well as giving you a little bit of insight about me, the person behind the channel. So why did I choose the term Sober Thinkers as a title for this particular channel? Well, I did so because it provides a real good description of my overall thought process and how I approach things, life in general, and is something that I feel will serve other people in a real positive and healthy way if applied, properly. And of course, the overall goal of the channel is to promote, one, a heightened sense of self-awareness, and two, the knowledge of oneself. In turn, I look to inspire others in ways that helps them to recognize and realize their full potential, as well as help them lead successful and well-balanced lifestyles, which is very, very important. So what does it mean to be a sober thinker? Well, we must first look at the term sober, and by doing so, we can begin to determine that it has something to do with becoming perpetually clear and concise in one's own thinking, as it relates to one's own self, others, as well as the things going on around you. It's the ability to become more objective in one's own thought process, which enables you to give an honest and realistic viewpoint of oneself and others. And it requires that you remove any and all unnecessary influences, be it internal or external, that will cause your judgment to become both cloudy and unclear, which ultimately has a great effect on the decision-making process. Now, in today's society, of course, we are constantly faced and bombarded with all types of distractions and influences that have or seem to have a great effect on our mental state. And this ultimately manifests itself in the decisions that we make regarding our everyday lives or everyday livelihood. So is there a remedy for this? Is there a fix for this? My answer is yes. At least I like to think so. And we do so, or we can do so, by becoming sober in our thinking, which would ultimately mean becoming clear on who we are as individuals, where we are in proximity to our overall position in life, where we need to be, and ultimately how to make continual progression forward. I will repeat that. Who we are as individuals, where we are in proximity to our overall position in life, where we need to be, and ultimately how to make continual progression forward. Because what we must ultimately remember is that clarity and decision making are two of life's key components, and that these two things definitely serve as the crux to creating a successful, or creating and leading a successful and winning lifestyle. These two things are very important ingredients within that equation. So now that we are at the conclusion of the video, I'd like to definitely thank everyone again for tuning in and watching. If you like the video, please hit the like button. If you'd like to see further content coming from the channel, please hit the subscribe button for me. And last but not least, I'd like to say In all that you do, please remember to think positively, think wisely, and most important, think soberly. All right, thank you. Until next time. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Michael here again, and I'd like to welcome everyone to the Sober Thinkers channel, especially those who are tuned in for the very first time, as well as those that are returning. Now, in today's video, I'm going to be discussing what I like to call the 21 points of success. Now, the 21 points of success simply serves in this case as a set of rules that I like to use as a personal guideline or measuring stick as it relates to the level of success that I am either currently achieving or looking to achieve going forward. So as I list each point, I will also provide you with a detailed elaboration as to what each point means. And the 21 points of success are as follows. Number 1, stop trying to sell yourself as more than what you really are. Be content with yourself and strengthen that. Always be genuine and authentic. Otherwise, you run the risk of coming off as disingenuous or fraudulent, and thus you get exposed as such. Number 2, succeed by being who you are. I am that I am, nothing more, nothing less. For you are to develop a full and innate awareness of who you are as an individual. Learn to operate in that awareness like a hand in glove fit. By doing so, you can identify the gifts, skills, and talents you have, as well as the strategies to bring them about from both an internal and external perspective. Number 3, stop competing with others, namely yourself. For you are supposed to provide the world with your own unique perspective and ultimately play your own position. For life is life. It's not meant to be lived out in the form of a competition, for the only thing you end up getting by living in this manner is eaten alive. Someone else is always or will always be better, faster, more knowledgeable, etc., as it relates to specific gifts, skills, and talents. Key thing is to recognize, strengthen, and sharpen that which you've been given, as well as being fully aware of what you lack. This way, you're able to operate at your 100% level or full capacity. Number 4, realize that who you are currently, as in the individual, is fully equipped to be as successful as you desire to be based on the construct of how you're built or your overall makeup. Now, although we're born into vastly unique and contrasting circumstances and conditions, each individual is fully capable of rising above any and all circumstances with the intent and or determination of leading a successful and highly productive lifestyle. Number 5, my only concern is to be who I am destined to be, which is not something known to us all at once. For one must be constantly aware of oneself as well as one's overall position in life. Now, on the flip side, I'm never to allow myself to become an artificial imitation of another, nor a gimmick. You must remember in this case that authenticity is key. Now, one's destiny or true calling is something that we won't always know right off, and is something, depending upon what it is, takes some of us longer to figure out than it does others. However, As you begin to identify your true gifts, skills, and talents, you should always remain true to, nurture, and cultivate these. All right, number 6. Your internal power and your true intellect will always outweigh whatever leverage you feel you have via the various outlets society has pieced together through which we communicate with one another and use to function, upon also which we've developed somewhat of an unhealthy dependency upon. Therefore, you should never allow yourself to be gauged by such things, for you are the catalyst in this situation, and everything begins and ends with you. Or in this case, your ability to properly judge, discern, evaluate, assess, critically think, and make sound decisions based upon these things always be of more value than any piece of technology or platform used that society has pieced together, upon which we've come to rely upon a great deal. In this case, the mind and the conscious will always outweigh the machine. Number 7. I'm here to carve out my own place in existence, as are you. We are to take our own appropriate piece of the pie, so to speak, and affect change from within that spectrum. Now, we're all here for a specific purpose and to play a specific role, so to speak. And yet somehow I still find us fighting and tugging for more of our specific or particular slice of the pie of livelihood. And in my honest opinion, each individual is justly due the size of his or her particular slice by the amount of work they put in, the impact left upon that which they're engaged, ultimately the fruits brought forth that's of beneficial use to not only themselves, but more importantly to others as well. Number 8, life is life. It is not a popularity contest, nor is it a race. So now life is comprised of a myriad of choices as well as experiences and must be respected as such. Never should we treat life as if it were some type of contest or race to be won, or else, as I previously stated, you'll end up climbing and walking all over each other in the process, which totally takes away from the potential you have to bring forth as an individual and as a collective. All right, number 9, focus on bringing forth your best in whatever it is you're involved in so that you can have and make a purpose-filled impact. Never attempt to fulfill the expectations of others, for these matters are to always rest solely in your hands. For you should always know and remain constantly clear on what you expect from yourself as well as others within the proper context. Because if we invest too much of our internal thought into the expectations of others, we will end up divesting our power over to them as well, and ultimately giving up control of our will and fate over to another. So the thing is this, the result and the ownership of such a choice will always fall back upon us, because it is our sole responsibility and duty to both monitor and act accordingly where these matters are concerned. Okay, number 10. Success is not a prepackaged assortment awaiting to be plucked off a shelf. Now, unlike an item you buy at your local market, such as bread, milk, eggs, etc., success is something that's not just sitting around awaiting purchase. Number 11. Success is not assigned to you, it is created by you. Now, similar to my previous point, you cannot buy a truly successful life, nor do you get assigned one. You must create it for yourself, then learn to bring all of its components together according to that which you deem fitting for your own life and situation. All right, number 12. You should both live out and follow your own roadmap that leads you to your destination. Because as the captains of your own ship and the masters of your own destiny, it's very important that you understand the importance of laying down your own roadmap to success, so to speak, and understand how to both set and navigate your own course, which offers many variations. All right, number 13. Focus on building and living life through your own eyes and not those of another. Now, in my humble opinion, we all have two sets of eyes. The first being the physical, and the second being those of a greater and higher intellect, which is the greater of the two because it can see things that you can't see with the naked eye. The key is to learn how to join these two things together so that you can not only see what's in front of you with the physical eyes, but more importantly, be able to adequately assess and discern these things in order to make good decisions that have a much greater impact on your life. But never attempt to live through the eyes of another. This is very important because they may not have the full capability of seeing exactly what you see, the comprehension of such things, nor the ability to act upon that which is shown. Number 14. There is no right or wrong version of success. You're responsible for creating the version that is most suitable to you, which can be likened unto a tailor-made fit. So now success and the display thereof is pretty much a matter of individual choice and perspective. Because for too long have we been sucked into the indoctrination of one size fits all, or only if I have or accomplish these things type of mentality that has ultimately robbed many of their full potential or put a complete stop to those who would otherwise attempt, which is even worse in my opinion. Okay, number 15. Take only applicable advice that serves its purpose in helping you develop in key areas of your life, for all else must be taken in and reviewed under the microscope of both logic and reasoning in order to determine whether or not such is of any real value and use to you, the individual. So now we can all learn a great deal from others, both directly and indirectly. And it's pretty much a foolish thing to turn a deaf ear to what could be considered as wise counsel. Now, however, it's highly important that we as individuals learn to decipher the difference between the two. For a lot of so-called well-meaning people have a great deal to chime in about on many different things, but not all which is stated is worth retaining and thus put forth to applicable use to our benefit. Number 16. Tune out all useless chatter, including that of your own, that does not serve a productive purpose. Now, similar to my previous point, there is usually a great deal of chatter that takes place around our lives, both internal and external, which tends to have a great effect on how we operate, especially when it comes to the decision-making process and the clarity of such. But of the two, I more than likely venture on to say that the internal chatter is the most powerful, simply because it draws from and feeds off of itself, as well as what it picks up from the outside, and most importantly, it's nonstop. It stems from the deepest, most intimate part of ourselves, which I feel is the subconscious. All right, number 17. Surround yourself with those that help bring out the best in you on all levels and never the worst. So now, surround yourself with positive people is pretty much an understatement. One should surround themselves with individuals that are not only positive, but more well rounded on the various fronts of life. Therefore, know what types of people you need around you, those that hold you accountable and thus push you from good to great. All right, so number 18, focus on achieving one goal at a time until you have developed a complete picture of things accomplished, properly connected flow of these things, which in the end should equate to a more well rounded, well balanced lifestyle. So now, Rome wasn't built in a day, nor was it a week. The erection of such a massive empire took both time and persistence. Therefore, achieving success, greatness, and certain levels of mastery will require the same and is a continual process that will not be rushed. And please believe me, I've tried on many occasions. However, what I've come to understand is that there is a certain level of maturity that must take place, and that the bigger picture is not always about the destination or the end game in and of itself, but more so about the process. For this is usually the piece that you not only take away the most from, but learn to appreciate once you've arrived. Always ensure that your foundation is properly set before attempting to hurriedly build upon it. If not, you may end up with very disastrous results. All right, number 19. Understand clearly that everyone is not running the same exact race, nor are they here to serve the same exact purpose. Or we're not all here to serve the same purpose, nor play the same exact role. Although similar in some ways, we each have our own uniquely different talents to bring to the table, so to speak. We each have within us our own imprint to leave upon that which we are engaging in as it relates to our gifts, our skills, and our talents. Now, every individual should have a reasonably clear view of who they are, what they want for themselves, as well as what type of impact they wish to have and ultimately leave behind. Unfortunately, due to the herd mentality, we live with sort of a veil over our eyes, which prevents us from seeing things as clearly as they need be in order to help us make the necessary adjustments. All right, number 20. Know what is important and of extreme value to you. For at some point, and this is for certain, you will have to call upon and revisit these things for full evaluation and assessment. Now, this particular point is one of the most important in my opinion, because next to knowing yourself, this will serve as a foundation and a guide to assist you in moving things along. It will also cross paths somehow with who you are on a deeper, more personal level, i.e., your character, integrity, or the lack thereof, and the steadfast beliefs amongst other principles that serve as sort of the driving force behind what you do, which is why I say at some point you will have to call upon and visit these things once again for reevaluation and assessment. All right, number 21. Last but certainly not least, always be true to and honor yourself first and foremost. Now, honor thyself and to thy own self be true is something that should always be at the forefront of our minds. Not in an egocentric, self-centered type of way where you begin to fashion yourself as something or someone above everything and everyone else, but in a manner that allows you to remain true to who you are as an individual, from which one should never deviate, because at the end of the day, you have to live with the decisions you've made and the results thereof. So let it be those that you are able to hold yourself fully accountable for as a result, as in most cases, the buck of responsibility lies with us and is never to be passed over to another. Okay, now that you've completed the 21 points, you should now be better equipped to use these same principles in order to help you gain consistent wins in the overall game of life. So now as we approach the conclusion of this video, known as the 21 points of success, I'd like for you guys down in the comment section below to chime in and let me know some of your thoughts and opinions on what you feel some of the key points to success really are. Also, don't forget to hit the like button if you actually like today's video content, as well as the subscribe button for future content coming from the channel. I definitely want to thank everyone for watching and tuning in. And remember, in all that you do, think positively, think wisely, and most important, think soberly. Until next time, see you soon.